Good afternoon, everybody. It's 2 p.m. sharp, and as we all know, people are listening here and hopefully on the web. So we want to be on time, definitely. I have to introduce myself first. I'm the chairman of the session this afternoon. My name is Klaus Lueck. I am an architect from Germany. I have a company that does a lot of innovative demonstration projects in different R&D fields. And I'm involved in several projects. We have a special expertise in building physics, which is not too bad at all. We discuss about bio-based products. Our session is called Circular and Bio-Based Building Solutions. So what I expect from all the speakers is for sure that we show something practical, applicable, and hopefully not too far away from the market. I'm lecturing at the University of Applied Science and Art in Dortmund, and I'm focusing on building envelopes, which is for sure a topic that is quite close to what we are talking in this conference anyway. My program for today is like this. I was thinking about a sort of a snapshot presentation, so just 10 minutes per project in two parts. In the first half, we will see three projects, which is Bio4EB, EASI-ZERo and REINCARNATE. Then we have a short question and answer term of 5 minutes because our session is limited to 1.5 hours. After that, we go for the second half of project, which is Deco2, Wood2Wood, and MEZeroE. And all the speakers are here. I'm quite lucky about that because it's always a little bit tricky. All presentations are online, and I think we can just move ahead. And hopefully you are collecting a lot of questions for that roundtable discussion at the end, because this will be more generic and not focused on the different projects themselves. And we would like to come into a discussion to really find out what are gaps, bottlenecks, hinderings, pain points, whatever, what is really hindering us from getting closer to the market with bio-based products. We are facing a lot of shortages in the building market at the moment. And bio-based could fill in quite perfectly if we have the right products at the right time on the side. Okay, this is the program for today. And lucky me, I can just move forward because I'm coordinating the Bio4EB project. And this is the first one in the round. It's about circular and bio-based building solutions. We have a quite easy picture of our project that almost describes everything what we do. Everything what we want to do. First of all, you see that we have panels of materials like Posidonia. Then we have bio-based foam windows. And then we have an innovative facade system that is built of some of the components created in the project, which is panels, fibers, and foams. The idea was to get closer to the building market by improving the results that we might create of effective value chain use. So the deeper we go from material to product, the more we can make profit of what we are investing here. So we say it's higher positive environmental impact. We have a lower VOC emission, so air quality, indoor air quality is improved a lot, and lightweight and easy application is very important if we discuss about innovative products and what I always call the status quo bias. This is the biggest dilemma in the building industry. The existing solution really is the barrier for everything that's coming in. Some more ideas about the project itself. So it just says we have demo cases, 5 in different geoclusters. I think a lot of you are used to really go for this. We have 3 virtuals. And the promise that we made in the proposal are really, really demanding because we want to get rid of a lot of energy and CO2 impact. And to prove it will be ambitious. I have to say that. It's always as you write proposals, but without ambition, nothing works. So what is it heading for if we discuss about these new products? We want to support the residential buildings construction performance extraordinary at all 3 hierarchical levels, building component and material. And we try to create an amplified environmental impact, reducing additional VOC emissions, as already mentioned. For sure, we want to get rid of non-hazardous and we want to produce just bio-based products. I will show you a nice example about Posidonia, which is mentioned here in the text for sure. And we want to go for material application in any other kinds, embedded in facade systems, prefab panels, or even windows, which is, from my perspective and my knowledge, something really special. When I heard first about biofoams being applied in windows, it seems that is a contradiction. Talking about, is this construction material applicable, for an example, in windows? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? For sure, efficiency and effectiveness has to be raised tremendously. Why? Because the entrance barrier is high, and if we are not getting competitive, even in terms of costs, then we are in trouble. So a USP is needed, and a 7 years ROI for the application that we are selling to our buildings and applying is again very ambitious, but helps us to really approach the market in the proper way. Insulation material. You might remember when the Ukrainian war started, we have been in trouble anyway because the interest rates were going higher and it was not that easy to get material on site. And especially for thermal insulation, talking about the CO2 impact and the footprint, it's really a material that drives the market a lot in terms of energy reduction at the same time from consumption point. But for sure, talking about the impact, it's really interesting. If we discuss about ESP, for example, and we think about a lifetime, a calculated lifetime of 40 years, and then discuss about how much kilowatt hours you need to really produce it, then for sure it's really a problematic material. Okay, this looks much nicer than ESP. You see some Posidonia bolts and some of the material in the sea. Has anybody of you been familiar with Posidonia as a building material? Just raise your hands. You? Oh, there are a lot of people. I'm really fine. Okay, Posidonia is a wonderful material. For sure, the positive features for me are it's grown in the sea. It is used to humidity issues. It is, I would say, almost like wood a little bit. It's called hygroscopy, if somebody knows what I mean. And it's stabilized even if in a facade structure you have some condensate coming out. There's no problem. It doesn't need any chemicals to be stabilized. So this is the positive side of the story. The negative side of the story is on the left-hand side, which is the bolts. The bolts collected on a beach are waste. So this is one thing, waste. And nobody knows exactly to whom waste belongs. And it sounds strange, but if you are in a project like ours, we want to collect some of this waste on an Italian beach and want to really apply it on a site or even in a process where you want to create a product, it's mission impossible because there are some people who collect waste and they say it's ours. Every waste that we find, it's ours. So how to do something out of waste? So for sure, this is one problem. Is it possible to collect the big amount of Posidonia to really fill in this gap of thermal insulation market? The in-between result is, and I'm really very honest with you, no, it's really not possible to do that. But what we found out is that a collection or a combination of other materials with Posidonia is quite promising. For an example, if we discuss about a new panel made out of rice straw and Posidonia, the thermal insulation is much better than Posidonia itself. So we are now in this phase of finding out what combinations are possible to make this happen, and we really like it. So the challenges, I was just mentioning some, are definitely higher initial costs. We wanted to buy some Posidonia. There are some people collecting it, very problematic. Limited availability and supply chain issues. This was what I mentioned already a bit. Ownership of waste bias, I already said this as well. Performance and durability concerns. We are not that long applied that we can really prove that it's possible and stable for a couple of years. Lack of awareness and education. I'm an architect. If I ask some colleagues, have you ever applied Posidonia, even if some panels are certified and it's possible to do so in Germany? there's a lack of knowledge, definitely. Technical challenges I mentioned already. Life cycle assessment and environmental impact surveys, there are some, but for sure they have to be connected to, I would say, a holistic view on buildings, not just on the product itself, where I can have a certain contribution. Market demand and consumer perception of materials and investment innovation. We want to address all these items at the same time and overcome some, I would say, of these points of discussion which are really prejudices, I would say. In lots of cases, it's just prejudices. How are we doing this? For sure, we know that we have to present it on site. So the real demo cases, I will show you some slides about it, are really promoting this idea, and at the moment we are quite happy. As in all other projects with demo cases, after 1.5 years we changed all of them to new ones because it's done on site and you need somebody who takes responsibility, and quite often it's just the owner or even the investor who is involved, so this is ambitious. We make use of virtual demo cases, especially in the development phase, because you have to get some results out of use cases, or even if it's possible sandboxes. We just want to have separate cases to really analyze what is the possible outcome of it. The objectives are quite easy. We have affordable user-centric envelope solutions. We are not just discussing about single projects. This is the reason why I said we need to create trust based on market needs and applicability to different building typologies. The environmental friendliness I mentioned already, and we have to demonstrate for sure that even these products might be used another time, which is really amazing as well. The discussion about bio-based building materials always says, no, you can just use it once. If you just use it once, for sure, it's not a good idea. And this is interesting if you discuss about panels that you create for facades to really not demolish it afterwards, but really plan it directly for a second life. Multi-criteria and multi-stakeholder platform. For sure, we have to really communicate what we are doing here. As I already mentioned, if the market is not ready to use and apply. And we facilitate the Bio4EB solutions with open innovation test beds that are relevant. And we try to improve the project dissemination communication for everything that the Commission wants us to do in communication issues, social networks and things like this. You will find a lot of material about this. Okay, the session definitely is about an idea of how and what we do. You see some projects here now that come from really different parts. Some are more like offices, small houses, and then in France we have it's an old industrial building where an extra facade is created on top of it. In Spain, we have a monument. And this is now really interesting. Again, the architect, if you want to take out a window of a monument and replace it, there's a lot of discussion with the permission issues, and they want to have it in the same size and style and whatever. And it's really ambitious to replace these windows with bio-based windows, because regularly, talking about scale and measurements, they have to be much thicker and not the slim line. So, but this is possible. We are going to show this here. So every of these demonstration and real demo cases has a special impact. The demo progression. We found out that we have to create something new, which is this circle. It's a circle approach where we overlay pre-monitoring, design validation, construction work, and things like this. We have weekly meetings for all of these demonstration cases to really make it happen on site. Again, in other projects, I would say real demonstration of almost further developed products and almost ready to go to the market. This is what we don't have here. So it's including a lot of communication issues, as already mentioned. This is the work packages and the years. We are in month 18 now, and in the third year we will realize everything, because we want to monitor explicitly and try to analyze in the fourth year and then make all the results available and communicate them. Another issue is that all of these demonstration cases had sort of a kickoff with stakeholder groups. So we're doing really small conferences with all stakeholders on site. And it's sometimes quite amazing what they tell you. Craftsmen that are really being afraid a bit about what could be coming up now with this new kind of materials, but even with new processes. So therefore, training is an issue and is involved in the project as well. It's 2:15. I made it. even if the slides are a lot, but as you might have realized, I try to be very quick with this snapshot presentations. And I would hand over now, because the next one is Philip. And I think, Philip, you will introduce yourself on the project, so I don't steal too much time of you, please.
Thank you, so I'm Philippe Tony from CA in France, and I will present you the EASI-ZERo project. So I'm not a specialist in bio-based materials, I'm more a PV guy, you know. But you know that you never really come down to zero carbon emissions, so you need something to compensate, and PV could be there to make this compensation. Okay, so I will introduce the project. So this project has applied in the same call as Bio for EEB, and so the main goal for us is to address the pressing need to cut the CO2 impact and the energy impact, especially in the European building stocks. And we are very concerned with this fact to be able to replicate our solutions in all countries in the EU. So this project started in December 22. It's for 42 months, and we have 60 partners actually in 7 countries. Our budget is 8 million. And so we have a nice website and all this communication stuff that you usually have in this kind of project. But I encourage you to visit the website and to register for getting more information. We have a nice picture showing our project. So it's quite different as Bio for EEB, because in EASI-ZERo we have the full portfolio of various materials. In fact, we are studying lots of materials. Bio-based materials, recycled materials, but also some other materials like paints, for example, that can bring a more healthy indoor in housings, because they remove COV from the atmosphere, the local air. So we also work with air quality. And as I said, we also have this PV roof tiles that we are developing for roof, but also for facade. Why easy? Because we try to still use the same process for application, for installation, as the processes actually used by the standard workers. And zero, of course, because we are looking for zero emission and reduction of the energy consumption of the house. And all these materials are covered by a methodology that we want to bring in the end of the project. This will be our main results for the project, this methodology based on our portfolio of materials. Concerning our partners, so we have all these partners you can see here. So we have research institutes, but we also have some SMEs in the project. Some of these SMEs have products that are already on the market, for example, wood panels, wood fiber panels. We try to optimize these panels. Paints, for example, are already on the markets. And we have several phases in the development of the project. So materials optimization, integration in components, integration in pieces in houses, and finally validation. So you know that real demonstrations are really difficult to achieve. So in our project, we do not propose a real demonstration. In fact, we will work with real buildings, monitoring these buildings to have the real status of their performance. And then we will apply our solutions by the means of virtual simulation, in fact. We will obtain the characteristics of our materials in laboratories or in scale 1 experimental buildings, but in the end we will use a virtual demonstration, a virtual validation. Along all this process, we have also the study of the markets, the local requirements, because you know in each country in the EU you can have difficulties and differences in the requirements. So this is an important work that we have done in the first part, the first period of the project. And also, we also provide sustainability results. So we do LCA, we do cost analysis, we do circularity study. So product requirements. I said it's an important part of our project. We spent a lot of effort on that. We have selected the first list of products that we will study in the project. So you see this list on the slides. So basically, you have bio-based materials. You have also recycled materials. You have this biopolyurethane that is used in windows. That is well known also in other projects. And we have also this paint. So we have really, as a starting point, looked to the global building stocks of the EU. It was really difficult, in fact. But finally, we end with a solution based on some databases that are available from other projects, like the Ambience project, for example. And we could finally derive the requirements, country by countries, for 7 countries. We could not work with all the 27 countries, of course. And we also work about the differentiation of the products we propose in the project, by products, of course, but also for the markets that are targeted by our partners and for the countries. So this was the first step in our project, rather important. The second step was the optimization of the materials. So you have some examples of materials here. So you have a very, I would say, low TRL materials like mineral water glass, for example, that you can see on the top image. You have more standard materials based on wood fibers, and we try to optimize these materials. It's quite a difficult job because they are already quite good. One drawback of these wood materials usually is that you use a binder, and this binder is not a bio-based materials. So we have a solution for that, and we grow mycelium inside the wood panel. And basically, this gives you 100% bio-based materials for the thermal insulation. You can see this on the white panel you have on the screen. This is done in Italy. And finally, you have the biopolyurethane that you can see on the last image here. For all this material, we also look to a paint that will give aesthetic and protection for these materials in the end. Then we use this material in components, and these components will be tested in experimental facilities at scale 1, so several square meters of facade, for example, as you see in this facility. And so we do an integration of the materials. So you have, for example, a blind box here that will be insulated with, for example, the PU, the bio-PU. This is done in Germany. We have the frames for the windows you see here in Spain, and you have also from Norway the final panels based on wood fibers. So we try to analyze the performance of each of this material and try to combine to get a good solution with low CO2 and best performance. So this is from the component stage, and actually we are starting this step in the project. And finally, the evaluation in real buildings, but with virtual means. So you have our 3 use cases here. So we have one single house in Norway. So real difficult case with a hard climate. We have an heritage building in Germany here, which is owned by a university. And we have in France social housing, high-rise building. So we have modeled all these buildings. We have made some measurements. We are monitoring for 1 year these buildings to get their real actual performance. And by the means of simulation, we will apply some combination of our materials. We estimate the best combination to get the best performance. And of course, we will, sorry, thank you, Klaus. And we will analyze all this data with standard LCA tools from thank you, for CO2 emission and cost analysis also. And I'm just coming to the end. I hope
you are 100% in time.
Okay. So you see the team here in one of our General Assembly in Germany. And again, you have the list of our partners here. So thank you for your attendance.
Thank you very much. Philippe, there is 30 seconds left for me. I think we should deliver some products to you. You will handle it.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much. So now we're moving forward. And next on the list is André van Delft. And André will discuss with us about a project called REINCARNATE. Sounds a little bit like his Indian something, you know. But I think you will explain what it is about.
Right way to reply on that, Klaus. Klaus and I know each other for decades.
That's the truth.
And you know that I'm very rational, so for me it was really strange to get involved in something like REINCARNATE indeed. But I have to admit I learned a lot so far. And for those people who were thinking that they have a déjà vu, because they were in this morning already in this presentation, indeed I am the reincarnation of the guy that gave the presentation this morning about this project. On top of that, as a spoiler, again, for those who were already present this morning, I'm going to repeat something that I told already this morning, but you know, sometimes you really have good arguments and sometimes you have to use a different technique, just repeat, and then finally the audience understands. So that's the reason why I am scheduled twice today. Sorry guys for who have heard this already, some short introduction about this project, REINCARNATE. In my own words, the mission of our consortium it's all about circular economy, of course, and you could say how can we circulate stuff, but the most easy way to have less virgin materials is just to reuse your buildings or to extend your lifetime. And if those two opportunities are not applicable, then you can recycle anyway at the end. So that's more or less the philosophy of our project, and that's how it is designed. And to be honest, I'm just repeating what some other intelligent guy wrote down, and his name is Timo Hartmann. He's professor at the TU Berlin. He is coordinating the project, and we from DEMO as a team are the technical coordinator. So as a coordination team, we have the privilege to work with all these wonderful partners. And usually I do not say that we have wonderful partners, but Klaus is one of them, so I was obliged to say that 3L is involved here as well. There's some clusters like research institutes, universities, industry, people that really know what they really know about the stuff that they're talking, like the architect, again like Klaus, they really appreciate a partner in this project. And especially I would like to mention Regencells. It's a company from Sweden. They were actually always in the business of waste collecting, etc., but they completely converted their business model into a circular thing. So it's really valuable to have a company like them as well aboard, and then ourselves with some other IT partners. 16 organization, 8 countries, 4 years, and it's one team. And we all know there's a lot of fake news nowadays, so we have our real-time fact checker here. So if I say something that's not correct, Klaus, please correct me. So what are the objectives and the scope of REINCARNATE? We actually have defined 3 challenges on a major level. So it is well known that the construction and demolition sector, if you may call it, it's the largest stream in Europe. So again, if you can reuse a building, at least you're reducing that quite easily. Limited average lifespan. Klaus, by any coincidence, do you know what it is in Germany?
Lebenszeit, beschränkte Lebenszeit.
But I mean the number.
25 years if we talk about a published building, because it's never maintained.
Exactly. So this is actually the single source of truth. He's sitting next to me. So 25 years, up to 30. And imagine just extending it. That's already reducing a lot of problems. And thirdly, if you cannot extend, if you cannot reuse, then at least use the materials in order to avoid virgin materials. But also here in the construction sector, there's a very low percentage of materials that are used. So those from an abstract perspective are the things that we might want to solve in this project. So what is the approach that we took and are taking? We have 10 innovations, different innovations. We have 11 demonstrators, so demonstration cases all over Europe. We are where we are going to test those innovations on those demonstration cases. If we would do just some innovations on some demonstrations, it would be chaotic. We could not create a synergy. So therefore, another important central thing is what we call the CPIM, the circular potential information model or management, as we tend to call it as well. And that is actually a structure that facilitate all the tools, all the innovations used on the demonstration cases. So I've said this morning as well, there are a lot of schemes at Sustainable Places. Here's another one, but here you have you see the different innovations connected to the platform in order to really test it on the demonstration cases. So this is the overall figure. If we somehow cluster it, we see some innovations, digital tools for material tracing, and the waste management. Another one is across sectorial holistic solutions from the construction product and material. People that do write proposals, they recognize it. You use words like this in order to get a winning proposal, but here are some concrete innovations, automated solutions for deconstruction and access value in terms of the monetary value and CO2 reduction. So that are the innovations again that we're working on, that we have developed in the first part and that we used from practical use cases but integrate in the project. And now we're halfway of those 48 months and now we're going to implement it and to see whether it's really working and how it could improve, etc. Again, another scheme, that's what I said this morning as well. Don't try to understand it, because even myself sometimes have a bit of difficulties to understand. But that is not really the important. It is the importance to show this scheme is that there are actually two existing platforms integrated into each other. One of them is the RE Suite. The RE Suite is the software platform, the solution that we as DEMA consultants have developed and is being used by clients in real life. But we have connected it to Mainflux, a company from Serbia, and they are providing, you could call it middleware or a platform for IoT, and that is integrated. So what is most important for the end users, not to see how this is working, but that they can use it on their demonstration cases using simple devices connected to the system, and then on top, via easy-to-use user interface, they can do their analysis, etc., etc. So that is the first innovation, and if we do have time, maybe later I can tell you. 2 minutes. We don't have time. I'll continue. So another innovation is evaluation models for recycled materials. The only thing that I want to say, the company in Sweden, REINCARNATE, they said already, waste. Yeah, why waste? Waste is simply something without information, because if you add information to it, then you can convert it into, again, really usable materials. So that's, and in a very intelligent way, how they deal with that. This is AI, and there's a video, and that's even better, because then I don't have to explain it. And I dare to say, nowadays, if you don't integrate AI in your project, then you're really a loser. So that's why we did it as well. But on the serious side, it really brought some interesting effects, and there's also commercial interest to this, to really, for complex chemicals, complex materials, etc., to really reuse it. Robotics and non-destructive testing, I think the picture speaks for themselves. That's another practical way of testing and inventorizing. Once you have done that, you can use the information, for example, for crack detection or moisture, and depending on several criteria, the system assesses for you what is the best option in this value chain. Product upgrade solutions. So what we see quite often is downcycling. If you can really use it, then use it as landfill, for example. But sometimes we are able to even upgrade solutions based on non-virgin materials. So that's very interesting innovation, in my opinion, as well in this project. And then last, I won't summarize them all, but of course, it's not only our obligation, but we intend to create impact on a scientific level, societal impact, and a economic impact. Several are mentioned here. Again, I won't touch them in detail. We're halfway the project. Please follow us. We do have really interest from parties, companies, organizations outside the consortium. And hopefully in 2 years, at another Sustainable Places meeting, we can indeed tell you that they are using it, etc., etc. But so far, we have to wait for that. That's it. 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. Okay, I hope this works. Yeah, it does. Philip, would you like to join us? Because as mentioned already, this is now the first 3 snapshots. And what we learned, hopefully, is that R&D and fun are not contradictory. When we work like this, we have to be very innovative. Innovative people are a little bit crazy. Sometimes they wear the same haircut. So it's okay.
Not the same glasses. That's too much for me.
Okay, so no worries. Let's go into the first discussion. What I have to tell you is we are prepared for answers and questions for sure, but we have to use the mic because we want to be sure that the people who are hopefully listening online might be aware what we are discussing about. Are there any questions to? Okay, would you please do this?
I have a question for you because
Please.
you are developing bio-based materials. How will you guarantee that they can come on the market? Do you use some certification assessment, and which partner is doing that?
Okay, so maybe I hope this works if we just put it in the middle here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Certification issues are really interesting. For an example, talking about the French demo case, I told you that we are working every week on this. So the French demo case put in 50,000 euro for an ATEX. ATEX is in German is Zulassung im Einzelfall, permission for one case, just created like this. So at European level, you know what we have. We can even go for this online in Germany and try to make it happen. The biggest problem is indeed to go for this typical material exercise. Investigate almost everything, put a bit of effort on it. This is one thing that we can do in an R&D project, but we need extra volume in terms of money. It's really a money question. And at the same time, we need these certifications because now talking about demonstration cases again, in all of these countries, from Latvia to wherever, for sure, all the architects, all the other involved partners need to have a warranty and security facing the demand of the client. So, permission, we try to go for permissions like this. And yeah, quite honestly, as you said before, there are countries where it's not possible. Sometimes we really regret that we take some of the components out because we cannot use them in that country. Why? Because it takes too much time. Sometimes it's not just money, but we have a 4 years project. So how to manage it then? I hope this, yeah, some more questions. Please.
Hi, I've got also a question to you because one slide was shown just 1 second about properties, I think.
Properties?
Yeah, properties of this material, thermal conductivity or...
Okay.
It is possible to, or it is confidential?
Okay, they are... now I will tell you a real secret. Even the comparison of Posidonia and other materials like EPS and things like this, we really had as a desk research quite quick available. So if you want to have a look at this, it's really available at the net. This is not a secret. And I can give you some facts and figures about it if you're interested. If we talk about 004 or 0.0035, something like this, so which is not too bad at all compared with thermal insulation out of mineral wool or whatever, we are matching with this. So this is comparable. The one and only problem at the moment, physically we are better, as I explained already, but the one and only problem is price level. And we need to scale this up, that's it. Scale this up and take the right material that is available to scale it up.
Maybe just a comment on this.
Please.
Because we have this as we optimize materials, existing materials, and we get the surprise that when you scale up the process, you lose in performance. So it depends on the material, of course, but sometimes you have some unexpected effects from the scale up of the production.
Okay for you, please.
Erwin Cornelis of a consumer organization working on standards. My question relates to standards. It's also a bit related to your question. Did you have a mapping exercise of which standards are relevant in here and to what extent they are blocking the uptake of bio-based materials and what needs to be changed? Okay. You can't within a 4-year project. It's very hard also to change the standards themselves, but at least, well, you should know which standards should be changed and how you can change. So, is that part of the projects that you are in?
In fact, very practically, we wrote a deliverable exactly about this issue. It was the earliest one, because we said if we cannot standardize certification processes, then we have a bottleneck that we will not survive on our way to the market. So there is a deliverable, and I think it's even public. Please have a look at our website and find out if we covered everything. And if we did not cover everything, which is interesting for us because we have one special thing in this project. We are a partner from South America. And we were covering the US market and the South American market as well, which is somehow unique. And the company involved from Bolivia is a standardization company. This was a reason why we were looking for partners like this. Really, we need this knowledge in. And this is a very, very crucial question. And maybe this is the reason why we have a selected number of products. Because we knew if we would go for this, I just mentioned the ATEX for 50,000 euro. If you think about other costs that we would mention somewhere, and other costs have a higher budget than the whole R&D work, I think this is a no-go for funding, right? So please have a look at the website.
May I add something?
Please.
It's not a direct answer to your question, I guess, but I think it is related. Also, in REINCARNATE, we have a partner, the Austrian standardization organization. They are taking care of that as well. But what I would like to add, and that has been mentioned also in other sessions these days, everything starts with communication, of course. So, of course, I fully understand the standards because that's about liability, etc. But in order really to collaborate all together, especially for circularity, you need different buildings, different parties, etc. And that's where we started. But maybe, Sama, you can explain a bit more about the ontology, etc., how we dealt with it, because I think it's quite valid for all the people.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we... Yeah, sure. I thought I'm loud enough, but one of the challenges that we recognized in the project was that there is a lack of consensus between different stakeholders when it comes to, for example, circularity in this case. So at the very early stage in the project, we developed the ontology, and for those who do not know what the ontology is basically describing what an entity means and what are the relationships between different entities. So what does it mean when we say actor? What does it mean when we say that a process? So we try to harmonize that, and then we took that as a starting point to develop further processes and applications, but that was our starting point to even do the problem formulation, what is missing, what the stakeholders require. So if you're interested, we have a public deliverable available for that. So if you go to our website, you can see that. Sure, yeah, it's on the website.
We are interested because colleagues of mine, they do also ontology in the SNAC project. I want to comment on you maybe before you go to a really standard or harmonized standard. You can also check maybe if there is a EAD available,
Yeah.
which you can follow maybe with some
Definitely.
changes, and then it's much easier to go
Yeah.
than for a CE marking. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this first round. We took more time. This is really nice. And I have to get rid of these guys now. Thank you very much for joining me here for this. And yeah. Let's talk about decarbonization pathways and maybe something that bio-based materials could do in decarbonization pathways. Julia, please introduce yourself and then just go ahead. I add 2 more minutes because we took too much.
Thank you so much, but perhaps we can be on time. So, hello everyone. So, I hope you had a nice lunch and then we can wake you up. I think I will be echoing the first presentation and colleagues. I don't have a technical background myself, but I'm at the interface of this nexus of beautiful partners. I'm already going to the slide of the partners. We have absolutely wonderful partners. So up there in the corner, we are 17 partners and 8 countries, and we have 3 demonstration cases. And I think I can again echo the presentations that came before me when I say that we're really trying to demonstrate something practical. We have 3 demonstration cases, one in Ireland, which is the one, I will get to that one later because it was perfect for this session. We have a third one, we have a second one in Spain about a cultural heritage building, a municipality library in Castelló, and then we have another one in Austria. And it's really at the interface of social acceptance of certain solutions, because it's a residential building and residents and inhabitants will be part of the whole process, the Terrassenhaus. But we will get to that later. And we have 3, so we are very ambitious as any other project here. We are already thinking about upscaling and replication. So in the proposal, it's a Horizon Europe project of 4 years. We already thought about satellite countries, which will be Germany, the Netherlands, and also Italy, and Greece, where we will be replicating the results, the outcomes of the project already. I have decided to skip. You see that I switched very quickly because the moment that I stepped into this room, I've decided to skip. I don't need to tell you that renovation, that buildings are one of the major emissions cause at the EU scale. That renovation rates are far below the minimum. It's 1% of the building stock, and that this is all adding up to the circularity gap. We all know this. But what is Deco2 doing? What is actually the aim? Well, a few buzzwords are coming up, so I'm preparing yourself. I'm preparing you. So it's we are aiming to build a framework that is integrating different technologies, different building components, materials, products, with also different technologies. So BIM, digital twins, and as far as my understanding and comprehension goes of all of these technologies, we will build a framework that I want to show you in this slide over here. So having different partners with excellent knowledge in 3D robotics, in BIM modeling, having also Fraunhofer with their continuous research and processes. So the Ensuba process for the ones who don't know, I also didn't know before this proposal, is a process that is focusing on eliminating, so taking sulfate out of building debris, so out of waste materials of buildings. And I thank you very much for the previous presentation as well, signaling, identifying that waste is actually material that is not coded, that doesn't have for which we don't have enough information. But that's what we're trying to do with dynamic decarbonization pathways framework of DECO2. And of course, finally, there is my forte, the policy framework. So I forgot to actually introduce myself. I realized my name is Giulia, and I am from the Institute, the ICP, the Institute for European Energy and Climate Policy, and we are coordinating the project together with my colleagues who couldn't be here today. And one of the building blocks of our policy work is having a whole work package, to use the lingo of European funded projects, on sandboxes, and really trying to understand how can we advance, how can we bridge the gap, design to market, in our case 3 different physical demos. And specifically for this, we're doing well on time? Okay, we're not doing well on time. Specifically for this, so the Limerick city, the council building, will be our demo case together with a university in Ireland of the Shannon and Midlands. I will list here the components. It will be specifically mycelium, but you also see them listed over here. And what we want to do is to establish an Irish Living Lab to test these bio-based products, also using distributed ledger technology in order to track the materials that we will be using for the deconstruction, so giving a new life, the user cycle, the renovation, and then the demolition work. A lot of text. Let's go to the images. So these are the images that our partner have sent us. So it won't be the whole building, but a recreational hall, and mainly focusing on adding perhaps for meeting also the targets of RES production, of renewable energy production, considering also solar PV on this. I think I won't stop here because I would love for you to ask me questions, and I will try to answer as much as possible. One last thing is that we are also a Spanish partner, Cemosa. They will be also helping us with virtual demos, so virtual demonstrations of all of this, in order to test the materials with different scenarios up to TRL 7. And then practically for TRL 8. And we're done. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Giulia. You have to wait for the question and answer session.
Yes.
Don't worry. Now we're moving forward. Vivi, let's talk about wood to wood. It's not self-explaining, but I'm sure you will do.
No, it's not self-explaining, but it has to do with the wood and wood valorization. So, hello everyone. My name is Vivi Carba. I'm a chemical engineer and researcher. I'm working in the Institute of Communication and Computer Systems, ICCS, in Athens, Greece. Today I will present you the wood-to-wood projects that we are currently working with my colleagues that are not here today. It's a project about wood upcycling in principle, and it's an Horizon project. It's EU funded. The granting authority is the European Health and Digital Executive Agency. Here you can see very briefly some facts. We started actually working on this project at the beginning of this year. And it's a 4-year project, and if you want to delve into more details regarding the project, here you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the page and see more details regarding what we are doing. And regarding the consortium, we are a big consortium. We are actually 24 companies, research institutes, universities, SMEs. One of the companies that we are working with is R2M, who invited us here today, and but also many other companies. P&G also in one of our demonstrators. That's one of our demonstrators, and many other more. And before starting explaining to you the wood-to-wood concept and explain to you what is it about and how is it's actually working, initially I wanted to tell you what about the construction demolition waste, but I think that our colleagues from REINCARNATE said a lot about that. So I think that, okay, construction demolition waste is a massive waste stream. And the most impressive things is that it contains, there's a lot of potential in all of the materials that are inside the construction demolition waste. And it's all gone because the 75% of those, it goes untapped. They are not recycled. They are not reused. So there is a lot of potential in this waste stream. And actually, EU waste policy is really focusing on this right now because of these numbers. So what we want to do actually is to take this waste, the construction demolition waste, this huge waste stream, and actually separate the wood out of it and then transform it into valuable products. So create, again, valuable, high-value products out of the wood waste. And how we are going to do this? We would like to create a framework, like a full framework that consists of 4 main pillars. The first pillar is the technologies, the sorting technologies that we want to use in order to separate the wood out of the construction demolition waste. The second one is, of course, all of the valorization approaches and all of the processes that we will use in order to upcycle this wood that we will separate and turn it into valuable materials. And then we have, of course, a very nice platform with digital tools that will actually facilitate the flow of the materials within the value chains. And this can be digital product passports, can be LCA tools, can be also, we have also a tool for material volume estimation. And of course, last but not least, we have policies and regulations about what is going on about wood classification right now in Europe, and it's also a lot about that. So the next slide explains a little bit better the concept, and you can see here again the 4 pillars that I was talking about. So you can see the first pillar is all of the sorting technologies that we will use to separate the wood. So we have as feedstock construction demolition waste, furniture waste, and then we would like to separate the wood from the foreign materials initially, so from glasses, metals, possibly nails or any other material, and then use some advanced techniques and some robotics in order to further classify it depending on the how contaminated is the wood. So we can have like a first class of wood, which can be the untreated wood, and finally have the last class, which is the contaminated wood that you actually cannot upcycle because the only way to treat it is just to landfill. And for this, we want to actually develop some technologies, some processes in order to turn this wood into products like biocomposite building materials, like polyols for some glues, and some surfactants for chemical detergents. The two other pillars, I like to call them umbrella pillars, because they are covering the whole process and the whole value chain. And as I said before, it's the platform with all the digital tools to facilitate the flow of the materials. And of course, we have all of the supporting framework with policies, regulations, business models that about good classification in Europe. I think that this is more or less what I said. Our main objectives are to create this comprehensive framework for wood valorization, improve the separation capabilities for wood, the existing ones, develop the technologies for upcycling, develop the digital tools, and actually validate these the solutions in 3 use cases. And of course, to increase competitiveness and promote sustainable practices in Europe regarding this issue and regarding the wood classification. This is our sorting system and how it looks like. I won't spend much time in it, but actually you can see here that it has an input many types of wood, from construction demolition waste. There's a big conveyor over here, robotic arms, sensors, and then you have the classified wood, you have untreated wood, coated wood, contaminated wood with some halogenated compounds, and the fully hazardous and contaminated wood. And what is very interesting, I think, is also the use cases that we will actually use in order to validate and in order to demonstrate all of the processes that we will develop. The first one has to do with the production of biocomposites. So we would like actually to take out of the waste and create some lignin and cellulose fibers that they can actually afterwards they can be combined with some biopolymers or with some polylactic acid, and then we can combine them and create some pellets that can actually form building materials that can be used in the facade industry. And of course, in order to do so we have our colleagues Leffery in Italy that will help us with us, and Bloom Biorenewables, that they will do some testing, and they will actually test the properties of these new materials in comparison with the traditional materials, in terms of mechanical properties, in terms of thermal properties, acoustic properties, insulation, and see how they will perform actually. And then the second use case has to do with bioremediation technologies that they will be used in order to create some polyols, and these polyols can be actually used again in glues. So they will follow a very interesting process in order to they will use their feedstock will be furniture waste in this case. So there will be a coating they will take out with steam explosion, and then they will do a process called liquefaction to create the polyols, and it's a very interesting process, and it's based in bioremediation. And the last one is, of course, it has to do with actually with gasification and hydrothermal carbonization for the production of surfactants. So what we want to do is that we will produce some hydrochar, and then this hydrochar together with some solid waste will feed the gasification process, and the hydrogen and the CO2 will feed the bioreactor of Key Verde in order to create some polymers. So that can be used as surfactants in the detergent industry, and P&G will actually validate these surfactants in the detergents. And that was all, I think.
Thank you, Vivi. Okay, if we just go one slide further, I see you again in the question and answer section. now it's getting interesting. How do you spell MEZeroE?
It's an acronym. It's
Fabrizio, please introduce yourself. I don't want
to steal. Okay. First, I introduce myself. I'm Fabrizio Perrotta, Senior Project Manager, Innovation Consultant at R2M. I assume that all of you should know R2M, but as organizer of the conference. Then I would like just to mention that this type of presentations has different type of approach, because we will go through a marketplace that we develop under the MEZeroE project. This marketplace basically will help you to test and scale up all your bio-based products. So we go now to explain the MEZeroE emissions. MEZeroE basically is an open innovation testbed. This is actually, it's connected also for what Klaus was saying for the Objective 5, that actually this type of product will need to some open innovation testbed to scale up and to answer all the questions related to marking, standardization, and all type of activity that we need to reach the market. So the aim is to create an open innovation ecosystem distributed in all Europe, and to develop in nearly zero energy, building envelope solutions, transfer know-how and knowledge, and also matching, this is the most important things for our project, that the testing needs with the facilities. So this is basically one of our main objectives. Plus also monitoring, provide some monitoring real buildings related to the living labs. So we have also one session related to living labs. And the last but not least, also the standardization cutting-edge solution coming from SME and also large industries. So the visions, it's as open innovation testbed as a kind of broad vision, which include in this big project, we are talking about 25 partners with 5 years of project with a really huge budget. So we are developing a multi-site virtual marketplace, which include in this multi-site virtual marketplace all the result of the project, which are the 9 pilot MEZeroE verification lines, which are part of the facility that our partner they have it. And basically, they focus on the specific envelope performance of technologies to support develop performance categorization of envelope products. Then we have also other type of services related to open innovations, which are services that it's a kind of combination of tools and methods that address some transversal topic like marking, measurement, and also in real buildings, also open innovation uptake like market analysis and support also in coaching other type of innovation activities. Then we have also living lab. We access also real buildings and testing, also living lab. And last but not least, we have also other type of services, which include the fast track prototype to the market, and also some systematic P&O and knowledge management. So now at the moment, we would like to show the platform. Can I see? No? That's actually. Can we see this? Doesn't see the. We should duplicate. Duplicate. Maybe it's expand. So we would like just to show you live the platform that we develop. We are trying to actually duplicate it to you. It's duplication, so I can't do it. Duplications. Setting device system. Okay. Okay, perfect. We solved the issue. So now we go. So this is actually the platform that we develop as a marketplace, which is embrace all the development in the project, the open innovation testbed. So as you can see, we have this is the homepage. We have 3 main services, which the first one, as we discussed, there are the open innovation services. Then a part of the open innovation services, which are listed all here, and you can, let's say, in the public part of the platform, you can explore what we can offer. Then there is the MEZeroE verifications, which are the part of the testing that we offer to potential clients. So there are there are 9 pilot lines. We will be open also to additional testing facility, and we aim also to expand our network. In this framework, if we would, as a bio-based product manufacturer, if, for example, would like to test, let's say, some product, then you can choose simply one pilot line. Then you can explore what you need in terms of test, or innovation or services, other type of service, and then sign up in the platform, in the marketplace. So this is actually how to sign up, and then basically here as a platform you can see all. You put your credentials, you choose how much, for example, how much time you have, the type of construction segment that you are interested in, and then you choose readily what you want. Then if you go to living laboratories, we are including all these living laboratories that we serve in the project. So this is the list, and then you can choose. And in the part of the private part, once that you include it in the private part, then there will be the matchmaking sessions. That you will go here, and then here you will have the private part. Then there will be the services that we are offering that is similar to the public part. And then you can simply choose your services or choose your pilot line where you will try to test the product, and also try to do some request. This is, you can request here the service you want, and then you can simply answer to your questions. The single entry point that will manage it, so you can select here the potential test that you can do it. And then you send the request. Then as a product request, you will see all here the request that you receive it. Then you view the tiles. And then the owners of the services of the pilot line will answer to you, and there will be a matchmaking session here, so you can upload some documents, some discussion also about potential the service that you needed, the location, and so on. And then you can simply organize your services. And I assume that that's all. So it's a bit different as a project. As one is as an open innovation testbed. But just to conclude, what we are looking now, it's this marketplace is online. So there is we are working also for the network to manage the marketplace. Yesterday there was another workshop related to open innovation testbed about the business model. What we would like, the message we would like to pass is that you are welcome to register to the marketplace. You are welcome to select the services. And we are looking also for ambassador, which is, they should be the multiplier of the platform, of the network we have been. So we are welcome. You are welcome to register in the platform. So this is the final message from our side. Thank you so much.
Can you go back to the presentation? Okay, you are in trouble now because we're going for the final discussion for the last 3 projects. So Julia, Vivi, would you like to join us here as well? And while they are just showing this last slide saying discussion, I would like to encourage you. Is there anything that you want to know from wood to wood, deco to or MEZeroE? Or would you like to have an answer from the audience, which is quite interesting as well? Is there anything that you're interested in?
Maybe I can start?
Yeah, please,
So,
go ahead.
just, do you see that the potentialities of this platform from your side, as we were discussing about, say, marking or the standardization issue for potential bio-based product, as you can see, this potential matchmaking platform, matchmaking tool?
Please. For the mic, please. Thank you very much.
Just a question on this one. How much is it different from the Meta Lab activities on the ECTP? Because it looks quite similar, to be honest, but I don't know the details. So,
okay,
yesterday over there.
Okay, thank you for this question. Yesterday we had a workshop about it, about the business model. Then we have complementaries in META-building labs. At the same time, we have some specific services we offer in terms of innovation services, and also some living lab that they are slightly different approach. Also the facility that we offer, even with both projects, they have pilot lines. They offer facility pilot lines, but they are different type of testing facilities. So sometimes we are trying to cooperate. It is true that somehow R2M is involved in both projects, but at the same time, there are some possibility that we are discussing some potential synergies. So the network we are developing and also the meta-building associations to work together to present, let's say, an ecosystem, European ecosystem, which include more opportunity for the small and medium companies.
Any more questions from the audience? Inputs, please.
I have a question for you, Vivi, for the wood to wood, because a very valuable part is also structural used wood in the waste. Yeah, do you have special methodologies to reuse it, maybe also in the form of structural applications?
What do you mean by saying structural? Structural.
Load bearing. So load bearing wood.
Yeah.
For the ceilings, for facades. Yeah.
It depends on. So the first thing is that we want to develop all of those sorting mechanisms and separation mechanisms. So then we need to categorize it. So it really depends on the composition. So it depends if this wood has been undergo treatment, if it has a coating, what kind of coating it has. Is it a glue? Is it a paint? Does it have any halogenated compounds? Does it have any hazardous compound? So what we want to do is that develop all of those mechanisms so we can actually sort it in categories, and based on these categories, which wouldn't be structural wood, or it would be wood actually categorized based on the chemical synthesis and maybe also the origin or classification codes. So depending on this, we need to figure out which will be the best way to upcycle it. Should we use mechanical recycling? Should we use bioremediation processes for taking coatings out? Should we use pyrolysis because there are contaminants? So it really depends on the synthesis of the wood and the structure, the classification code. So it's really a lot that we really need to implement, to take into account, and we try to make a framework in order actually to find the best way to upcycle the wood depending on the category. Thank you.
There's one more question, please.
I may have a question actually for both of you. Francesca from HPA, European Heat Pump Association. What about the legislative landscape at European level for in terms of waste? Are there any promising or efficient already, like regulation at European level still that can actually support what you are doing? Because you mentioned the sandboxes, right? But I would like to know a bit more maybe about that. Thank you.
I will go first, but I think you are the expert on this. You are the expert on this. I really know very, very few stuff, so I will go very fast. That I know that there is no unified, there is not a unified policy for wood classification. So in our project, this is one of the challenges, and we want to actually create a unified policy for wood classification, because I know that this is different from country to country. There is a common space, but there are some differences. So it's also a question from my side to you, if you know more about
pressure. Definitely. So thank you, Francesca, for the question, because this also allows me to say a few more things that I didn't manage to say because of timing issues. And indeed, I would certainly agree with you. So we were trying to say in the DECO2, which, as you might have noticed, doesn't have outcomes yet, because we had the first meeting with all of the partners in June, and then summer happened, and then now proposals happened, and so now we're trying to gear up towards the meeting the first demo partners in Castelló in Spain, actually. Where the building seems to be ready for starting the first steps of the demolition process, but forgetting about the very first demo that we were dealing with in October, because there is a lack of a unified common landscape that allows us to translate the, for example, construction and waste protocol or the directives at the EU level. Then what we're doing is we're targeting the local ecosystem. So that's how we're working. And for example, for the Limerick Council building, we are working with the Certification Institute, NSAI, in order to try to identify barriers and drivers to speed up this verification system of new bio-based materials. So for me, it's sort of, I understand that I didn't manage to answer fully your question, but we would hope.
It's quite difficult to give a comprehensive answer. I just wanted to know a bit more about the landscape at European level. Is there any specific regulation that can actually support already the project that you are leading? Or it's just desert? That's what I was wondering.
Sure, and if there is anything that you might also want to add, Klaus, but indeed it might be that some processes that do work at the Irish Living Lab, at the Spanish Living Lab, at the Austrian Living Lab, do not work for Germany, for example. So that's what we're trying to.
Yeah, that's the truth. We for sure have to look for. This is what I mentioned before, talking about application of products in different countries. Sometimes there are really barriers that we can solve in the project. 4 years are too short, sometimes 2 or 3 when we just started. So you're absolutely right, Julia. It really depends sometimes on country-wise things. And if we talk about application like in Bio4EB that's focusing on South America and US, very tricky. Very, very tricky. So it really depends.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So where are we now? We have 7 minutes left for the closing discussion, because I think we promised that we would talk after every 3 projects a little bit more on what was presented and give the opportunity to add something that was lost somewhere. And I think now we're coming to this roundtable closing discussion, which is really open. So first question that I have to the audience is, did you enjoy what we presented here? Was it okay? Was it something new? Was it impressive, entertaining? I see smiling faces, so in that case I'm happy, because this was the objective to do so. I have a question to you. If you would give me the best and market-oriented and applicable product that might be coming out from wood to wood, which is it?
Difficult, very difficult. I would say that the polyols are difficult because there is a difficulty in upscaling.
Okay.
Pyrolysis is questionable because of the energy, and I would say that the biocomposite building materials, though, with from wood pellets, it might be promising. And if they perform very well in terms of properties, and if they mix very well with the polymer materials, I think this is something promising, if you're asking. So, but I'm not the expert, and we're just starting, so we'll figure it out. But to my eyes, this sounds promising.
We will.
The recycling aspect of this product.
Please repeat for the others outside, maybe.
What are the recycling aspects? Because these pellets with polymers, then you have, if you want to recycle it, is it possible or is it not? Is it biodegradable? What are the
Depends on the synthesis, I think, but I think it's really depending on the synthesis of the polymers that they will use, fillers probably. So I really don't know if the new material is fully recyclable or not. But I think it really depends on the other materials in the building block, because there will be polymers, there will be fillers. So I cannot really answer because I don't know exactly the composition of those materials. Thank you.
Okay, so now we know what we have to focus on the next years. We will monitor this, definitely. Andre, I have a question for you as well. Sorry to interrupt you. If we think about the functionality of the CPIM, and we talk about several platform solutions that were raised here from different sides, I think the CPIM, you said you don't understand it 100%, and I can really confirm. But what I see is an open system. And I have the feeling that a database really to approach the market is really needed. From the practical architect working at his desk, looking for something, Googling somewhere, gets lost. If we talk about bio-based material, it's not too much information that you find. It's not just about standardization, but really available products, costs, and so on. And I think this was the reason why I was so keen on inviting you as well for REINCARNATE. Do you think that REINCARNATE can really serve this? Can really go for bio-based products that are involved in the CPIM as well, and help to really approach the market a little bit closer?
Okay, first, is it on?
Yeah, I think so.
First, sorry, but also a question for you, because you said, you repeated that I do not understand this fully, and then you said I can confirm. You can confirm that I don't understand it. You can confirm that you do not understand either.
I think it's, honestly, it's both.
Okay, that's good. So, the reason why I also added some information to the question before, I asked Sama also to explain a bit about the taxonomy, etc., etc. So I think it all starts with understanding each other, and it is such an open door, but well, open doors are open doors for a reason. So it is essential. What we do realize now, we are, as you know, and some others maybe as well, we are developing software already for more than 25 years. So we know our way in databases, etc., etc. So that's not the difficult part, in my opinion, the technical one. But as we have also seen in other presentations, there's a lot of systems and there's a lot of propriety, and is close-knit with the best intentions, but if you're not able to bridge the gap also to other systems, other companies, organizations, then in my opinion it's quite useless. So, having said so, it doesn't make any sense either to do it the other way around, to connect with everything, etc., because then you cannot even fix your own little small problem. Now, to some evidence, let's call it like that. I do not know whether it was in this session or the session this morning, but Lagemaat, a company in the Netherlands, said this is really what we need, because what they do, they simply buy buildings, not for the building, but for the materials. And their business model is collecting materials, components, etc. from donor buildings and to implement it in others. That does not work from one building to another, so that means that they need to scale up. They said as well, of course we want to have competitive advantage, but for one hand, it does not work if we keep this as a closed community. We need to do with our competitors as well. And they strongly believe as well that it is way more important for themselves as well to create this community. So I truly believe that also the setup of the software in REINCARNATE really helps. It is not a closed system, even for us, it's a federated system. And I could talk for hours, seriously, about all the technical details, AI, blockchain technology, but it's really an add-on, I would say. And fortunately nowadays, with all the API, synchronization, open standards, etc., it is feasible. So when we are building and really approaching each other from the different directions, then we can reach, and there is a business model for those parties that are going to use it, for architects, for demolition companies, etc., etc. And once there's a business model, then I truly believe that it will be possible. I didn't know whether it answered your question, but...
it was not my question, but you closed fantastically. So because it was my question. Just kidding, folks. We made it. So it's just 3:30 on the point, and I think I have to thank all my supporters, because architects are the best educated of nothing. We don't know nothing exactly. We try to really or less understand what the things are about and make the best out of it. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you very much for all your contributions. And let's keep contact. There are different ideas that can be brought together. And maybe if we really define all the bottlenecks, gaps, and things that we have to do in the future to make bio-based materials more successful in the market, I think we can build up a good community for this. Thank you very much, and maybe see you soon next year at Sustainable Places. Thank you.